I say to this day, and I do it based on my reaction. Obviously, this is personal. I say it's the greatest knockout of all time. First time I ever stood up, I couldn't sit down. I was standing up. I was just like, oh,
I saw that. I saw you
oh.
stand up. That's the first time. That's
It was
sick.
just, what?
Expecting him the last 6 rounds with AJ. In my opinion, he won 4 of them. So people will argue that he at least won 3.
But will you take care of me forever and ever?
When Anthony Joshua finally delivered the crushing sixth-round knockout that ended Jake Paul's run in their highly anticipated heavyweight clash, Joe Rogan's live reaction perfectly reflected the moment's massive impact on combat sports. Rogan, who had repeatedly warned about Joshua's devastating one-punch power and the danger Paul was facing, didn't hold back as the finishing shot landed, instantly framing it not just as a fight-ending blow, but as a moment that could be remembered as one of the most savage and unforgettable knockouts in boxing history.
Come full steam ahead 100 mile an hour, or Jake would have moved around the ring at 100 mile an hour. There's 2 things I would have done. Tried to shut Jake down at 100 mile an hour, or I would have gone on the back foot. So Jake decided to move around the ring, and I just...
The fight, officially billed as Judgment Day, was contested over the scheduled rounds in the heavyweight division, with Joshua entering as the clear favorite thanks to his elite experience and significant size advantage. Standing 6'6" and weighing around 243 pounds compared to Paul's 216, Joshua gradually asserted control after cautious early rounds. He dropped Paul multiple times in the 5th before closing the show with a devastating 6th-round knockout at 131, landing a brutal right hand that sent Paul crashing to the canvas and forced the referee to stop the bout.
Anthony Joshua. Paul was sturdy for the first couple of rounds, but as the fight went on, the more experienced Joshua began to take control. After continuously connecting in the 5th round, it was only a matter of time before it was over. In the 6th, Joshua went on to knock out Paul with a big right hand. Joshua improved his career record to 29-4 now. Paul loses for the second time in his career to
Anthony Joshua versus Jake Paul became one of the most talked about fights of the year, not only because of the personalities involved, but also because it sharply highlighted the collision between traditional heavyweight boxing and the social media-driven influencer era.
Bro, I'm a fucking legend for that. He has such big balls getting in the ring. That guy, dude, Joshua's a monster. He's standing the whole time, and I'm really proud of Jake, dude. All my respect to him, bro. Never out. I mean, dude, he went 6.5 rounds with Anthony Joshua, one of the best in the world. So I got nothing.
And got up like 2 times.
No,
Talk about that. I mean, there's been other heavyweights that have fought that right hand who haven't got him.
The guy knew so many people, bro. Over him, right? Jake's got a tough chin, dude. I think he does whatever he wants after this. He has such big balls, dude. He had to keep moving. That was the only strategy. People are gonna say he ran around the ring. They don't know. They don't understand fucking boxing.
Wow.
You showed a ton of heart, right? What's next for Jake Paul?
Joshua, a former 2-time unified heavyweight champion, came in as a massive favorite. Paul, a YouTuber turned boxer, had used his platform to draw huge attention to boxing despite criticism from purists questioning his credentials. Still, very few truly believed he had a realistic chance against elite heavyweight power.
Some people believe in fairy tales. Whoever believed that Jake Paul was going to win, that was an absolute fairy tale. I've got a friend in a group message that said, I just put $20 on Jake Paul to win. I was like, bro, you just wasted your money. There was never a world in which Jake Paul was going to beat Anthony Joshua. It was always a matter of how the fight would end. So I watched all the pundits talking about the fight, even Rosendo, my boxing coach. I was like, does Anthony Joshua represent boxing? Everybody from that world felt like Anthony Joshua was representing boxing. And as the fight started to go on, first off, he was representing boxing, so they wanted him to get the job done. All right, first and foremost. You can't lose to a guy that's perceived to be a YouTuber, even though today, Jake Paul is more boxer than YouTuber. I've said this time and time again. When you have resources, when you can spend $1 million a year on training camps, housing, food, coaches, this is not recreational anymore. He's a boxer. He's just not a boxer at that level. I ran into his brother in New York City. And I said to Logan, what parameters are in place, Logan? What safeguards do they have to make sure that Anthony Joshua doesn't hurt your brother? He said there are none. He goes, they're going to just straight fight. So in that regard, you got to give credit.
After the fight, Anthony Joshua spoke honestly and thoughtfully about his performance, saying that while he secured a sixth-round knockout, he didn't feel it was his best outing and believed he could have done better. Joshua admitted he needed improvement, explaining that he struggled early to land clean shots and couldn't trap Jake Paul as quickly as many expected, calling it a win but not a success, and stressing that he still has plenty to work on.
Better is a lot of things. 100%. In the fight game, you've seen the amazing fighters that have graced us over the last 100 years, and the expectations that we put on ourselves are immense, but I tried my best. Jake done well while it lasted, but if you remember what I said in the interview with Cameron is, fighting's not just physical, it's psychological. And when you understand the psychological warfare, I did say to you is that, Jake, what's going to happen? I'm going to see a time when I'm going to take your soul and you're either going to give up.
Despite the knockout, Joshua made sure to acknowledge Jake Paul's heart and toughness, saying that even though he finished the fight in the sixth round, Paul showed real grit by repeatedly getting back up after being dropped and continuing to fight against a far more experienced former world champion. Joshua added that not many fighters would step in with someone of his level, and Paul's willingness to keep pushing through adversity deserved respect.
AJ's won 6 rounds. He kind of dismantled him. He took his time. How do you see it?
Yeah, it was a frustrating 2-3 rounds maybe because Jake was moving so much, holding, but did well, I thought. I mean, I was impressed with him. I mean, I was more impressed with his toughness because I think that last shot would have knocked out most heavyweights. I mean,
Well, he broke his jaw.
Yeah, I know. He knocked him out,
Knocked
but he
his
was
teeth
not
out.
unconscious. You know, I mean, look, he may not come back from it. If he has broken his jaw, it's a big injury to come back
Well,
from.
there's pictures of him in hospital right now.
Well, listen, you've got to respect him because he did what many people wouldn't do, which was get in the ring with him. And, you know, he didn't, I know he run and hold, but he also let his hands go at times. And he was in the firing line. And, you know, we got 6 good rounds in the end of actual
Is that how
work.
you see it in the end?
Yeah, I actually think it's a positive because, you know, we could have gone in there and got it all over with 45 seconds. He's done an 8-week camp, and now he's done 6 rounds. He's got...
Paul suffered a broken jaw during his sixth-round knockout loss. After Joshua landed the powerful right hand that ended the fight, Paul, bloodied around the mouth, said in his post-fight interview that he believed his jaw was broken, which was later confirmed.
What's your reaction to it?
I'm just so proud of him. My mom hasn't.
Your brother fought his ass off, man.
Yeah,
I mean, other heavyweights have taken that right hand and only took one.
I'm just so proud of him. That was incredible. In my view, that was a victory on all fronts.
Right.
Like, minus the actual victory, of course, but bro, like, no one expected him to last 6 rounds with AJ. In my opinion, he won 4 of them. People argue that he at least won 3. No one expected him to last that long. Rolled his ankle, broke his jaw, still fucking fighting, man. Like, that's toughness. You know, most people wouldn't have the balls ever to step in a boxing ring to bring in their life. He stepped in a boxing ring with one of the baddest men on the planet, who's 40 pounds heavier than him and 6 inches taller. That's insane. He's one of the most skilled fighters on the planet. My brother, as a fucking YouTuber, went 6 rounds with him in a fight with a broken jaw and rolled ankle. I'm so proud of him. That was just unbelievable.
I saw you talking crap to AJ at one point.
I was trying to get his ass to piss him off. I was just saying something. I love AJ.
Yeah.
But bro,
I saw you going down.
I was talking so much, but I just pissed him off.
Jake leaned into his trademark bravado with a defiant post, sharing an image of his x-ray showing a double broken jaw. Paul wrote, "Double broken jaw. Give me Canelo in 10 days." Medical scans confirmed fractures in 2 places, commonly referred to as a double broken jaw. He reportedly drove himself to the hospital after the fight for treatment. Recovery time was estimated at 4 to 6 weeks, and Paul posted updates and images on social media confirming the injury while thanking fans for their support.
Nikita, just down here, Jeffrey from the Sun. Just to follow up on Jake, he said he broke his jaw in the aftermath. Has he gone to hospital? What's the health update on Jake?
Yeah, we think he broke his jaw. He's fine. We met with Netflix afterwards. He took a shower. He drove himself to the hospital. A broken jaw is very common in sports, particularly in boxing or MMA. And I think the recovery time from the doctors and surgeons we've already talked to is
Nikisa Bedikarian praised Paul's heart, durability, and game plan, saying Jake performed admirably against one of the most feared punchers in heavyweight boxing, and may have even taken a few early rounds. However, he stressed that the real reason for Paul's loss wasn't a lack of skill, but the significant size and weight difference. Joshua's larger frame and strength steadily drained Paul's energy, allowing the former champion to land heavy shots that ultimately led to the knockout. Bedikarian emphasized that Joshua's physical dominance played a key role and that Paul's effort still deserved respect.
And ultimately, Jake Paul lasted a lot longer than anyone said he was going to. And I haven't seen the official scorecards. I don't know if anyone else has, but I think he might have won a round or two or even three. He was doing tremendously well in there against a person who is vastly more skilled, vastly larger, vastly more powerful. And he did it on 4 weeks preparation.
What would you like to see next for Jake?
I'd like him to take a beat, relax, and then think about when he's going to fight next. You know, we talked about June, July timeframe. He loves the sport. He loves MVP. He loves the athletes. He loves giving them platform and push. This young lady right here, the whole time when I was talking to her, I said, "What do you think?" She goes, "Jake's going to win. I believe in him. He can do whatever he wants to do." That's the kind of family that we're building at MVP. It's a fighter-first organization. You guys saw our weigh-in yesterday. That stuff costs a lot of money, but we want to put on the best brand for these fighters to show.
Several fighters acknowledged Jake Paul's toughness for stepping into the ring with a former heavyweight champion and lasting until the 6th round despite the gap in size and experience. They noted that Paul showed heart and determination even in defeat. Eddie Hearn offered a more measured assessment, crediting Paul's effort but stating the outcome was never really in doubt. Hearn pointed out that no one realistically expected Paul to last long against someone of Joshua's caliber, and surviving into the 6th round reflected durability more than technical skill. He concluded that the fight underscored the clear divide between social media crossover fighters and elite professionals, as Joshua's experience and power ultimately dictated the result.
First 2 or 3 rounds, a little bit frustrating because you've been out of the ring for a year and a half and you've got a guy that's just running around the ring and, you know, you can say you've got to cut him off, but when they're moving at that kind of speed and they're holding up close, but his clinching was quite good, Jake. Like, yeah, listen, you know, I'm not saying he's going to go and win a world title, but he just fought Anthony Joshua and went 5 and a bit rounds. So, you know, respect to him. And it was good to get some rounds in, to be honest with you. You've got a new team. If it would have gone 45 seconds, maybe people would have been more impressed, but we wouldn't really have got any ring time. So we've got that, and now it's a case of when we're at next.
Jake was average a few years ago. What's your assessment of him now?
Decent. If you listen to what I said in the build-up, I said he used to be average. Now I think he's decent, and the same. I think he's like a top 50 cruiserweight in the world. Top 50, top 60 cruiserweight in the world. So yeah, and look, you know, like I said, I hope he's okay. 4-0. 4-0 to Matchroom over MVP. We're friends now, so respect to him.
Can you miss Fury?
Listen, we'll see you.